Hi guys, this is Eliana with Why Not Redesign. Welcome back to Why Not Redesign on Saturdays. This week we're going to be working on this set of nightstands that have definitely seen better days, but I still think that they have a whole lot of life left in them, so we're going to give them a second chance.
One look and I breathe.
As usual, we're going to begin by removing the drawers and giving this piece a very good clean. I am using White Lightning, which is a TSP substitute powder that you can mix in the water. I give a good clean inside and out, all the drawers, the back, side, everything. I remove any or scraped off any parts that needed to be done, and I also scuff sanded the entire piece with 120 grit paper. I've been asked many times why I use a manual screwdriver. I'm definitely old school when it comes to stuff like this. I have all of those other tools, the battery operated ones, and I just always default to the manual ones. I love it. Although White Lightning also acts as a deglosser for when you are cleaning the piece, in this case, I opted to go ahead and sand everything or scuff sand everything with 120 grit paper. That way I know that my paint is going to adhere very well. I then gave everything a second dust off or a second clean to make sure that no dust particles are there. And I began to prime the tops with this Rust-Oleum primer, fast drying. It comes like in a brick color, if you will, and it adheres very well. I'm only doing this to the tops. I am painting these pieces with all-in-one paint in the silk line from Dixie Belle. The color is Baja Gray, and I decided that I didn't want to tape the inside of the dresser to avoid overspray. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint these areas where the drawers will be hiding these spots. This is just a lot easier for me than taping around the entire area that covers that up. And yes, I know that it's kind of the lazy way out, but it feels easier for me. I can just put the drawers back in and then paint the entire piece with the drawers in, but I know that I'm not missing any spots because I'm pre-painting this by brush with a brush. I went ahead and gave the drawers a first coat, if you will, with the brush as well. I like doing this when I just have a few drawers that I'm dealing with, and basically is to avoid missing any of the spots with the sprayer. Sometimes it happens, especially if you're not gonna flip over the piece on its back to make sure that all of these areas are taken care of. This might look like the easy way out, like a lazy way out, but to me it works, and I never miss any spots because I know that that first coat is covering it, and then if I do any extra ones, then they're taken care of. This also can be basically like a primer coat, if you will. I then moved the nightstands into the booth and gave them a good 2.5 coats. That half coat is basically just going over them with a light and making sure that I didn't miss any spots, or if anything looked lighter, then you just kind of spray a little bit additional on there. They look great. I tried the voodoo gel stain on top of that reddish brick color, but it didn't give me the brown that I wanted, so I ended up going and getting just a different chalk paint. This is called, I believe, Latte, and is a color that is not available right now by Dixie Belle, but you can use any tanny color, any white that has a little bit of brown in it, and use it as your primer or as your base for the voodoo gel later on. I came back and I gave the tops a good scuff sanding to make sure that they were very, very smooth. Cleaned them up really well with a rag, and then I began applying the voodoo gel stain. I like to use, first of all, I like to use that blue sponge that you guys see me using right there. I sprayed a little bit of water, spread that water with the sponge, and then applied the voodoo gel stain. The stain basically works like a glaze. It can definitely stain. If you have a peek right there, there is a vanity behind the chair that you see. That was completely stained with the same product. And over here, I am using it as a faux wood top, like a wood look-alike top that I'm making. But as you know, I have prime painted, and now I'm using this as a stain color on top of all of that. So on top of paint, yes, you can do a full wood effect. It works beautiful. The results are beautiful. And I normally do 2 to 3 coats of that, or as many as needed, depending on the depth of the color that you want to achieve. This one I wanted like a medium brown, so I did 3 coats in the end. I work the piece or the effect with the brush and the sponge at the same time. The sponge basically smooths out everything, but you can use the brush to give it a little bit of texture and to get into the grooves of the top. As you can see, I have like different slats going on right there. Here I am applying a second coat, and I did the same thing. Sprayed it with water first, then came back and put the gel stain, and then brushed it on, and then smoothed it out with the sponge. The sponge is always damp. That's the second coat right there. And here you'll see me applying the third and final coat, and that really got it to the tone that I wanted. I didn't want it to be as dark as the vanity in the back, but I wanted this to be seen that it was definitely brown. I touched up all of the drawers with Big Mama's butter. They smell delicious. Added the hardware on them. Used a top coat to protect. And if y'all remember, this is what we started with. This guy's really needed some help, especially on the top. And now here's the final product. These nightstands were forgotten and sent to live probably in a landfill before because they needed some help. But Baja Gray and some stain definitely brought them back to life. They look completely different, and we can all agree that they have a long life ahead of them. Y'all, thanks for being here again this weekend. I really enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, comment, and all the good stuff, and I'll see you next week.